about x-intercepts and y-intercepts and vertex, max and min. We're going to put it all together now. And we're going to take this one equation and show you all the different forms it can be in. Okay. So, standard form. If I give you an equation in standard form, okay, it's not fun. I don't like standard form. It's really hard to graph things in standard form. So for me, I'm going to put it in vertex form. Now you can put it in factored form if you prefer that, but I think it's easier to put it in vertex form. So I'm going to complete the square. Okay, so now remember my goal when I'm completing the square is to take my rectangle. This is the area of a rectangle here, and I want to make it a square. So I kind of force it to be a square by just moving around my numbers. So if I have 2x in the middle, what should the sides be? 1x and 1x, right? Should be here. So the length of my sides should be x plus 1 and x plus 1. So far I have f of x equals x plus 1 squared. Now if I had x plus 1 squared, what would go in this box? 1 times 1 would be 1. But I don't have a constant of 1. I have a constant of -8. So I have to ask myself, how do I make 1 -8? What do I do to the 1 to make it -8? -9. Good. So I get -9 here. Now those two equations are equal. I've just rearranged the numbers so it looks like vertex form, but they have the same value. Does that make sense? Okay, once I find that, so this is my first step, I completed the square. So let's label that number 1. Okay. From there, it's very easy to identify all this stuff. So this is number 2. Paul, can you tell me the vertex here? Very good. The vertex is -1 and -9. Remember, you change the signs from inside the parentheses. My axis of symmetry comes from right here. It's just the x value, -1. X equals -1. Make sure you put x equals -1. If you just have -1, it's a wrong answer. Then we want to look for the a value. What number is in front of those parentheses? Very good, 1. So my a value is 1. Does that make my parabola face up or down? Up. So tell the person next to you, is that a maximum point or a minimum point then? Min. The vertex is this lowest point on the graph. Okay? Okay, now we're going to graph this. So this is step 3, graphing. So I can use the -1 and -9 as my vertex and graph that. I can also graph my axis of symmetry, which goes right through the center. x equals -1, which is right here. Does anyone remember my patterned rate of change? Yep. Very good. So my a over 1, then 3a over 1, then 5a over 1. Since a is 1, I just need to go up 1 and over 1 for that first step from my vertex. Then I do 3 times 1, and I go up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Up 1, 2, 3, and over 1. Then I go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. And then that's my parabola. Any questions over that? Okay, from there, I've got a bunch of ordered pairs. So I can fill in my table using all the ordered pairs that are right here. So I'm just going to start with the smallest x value I have, which is at -4. And when x is -4, y was 0. Then I'm going to go to -3 for my x value. And when x is -3, y was -5. Then I'm going to have -2 for the x value. And when x is -2, y was at -8. Then when x was -1, that was my vertex, so y was -9. Then when x was 0, y was -8. Then when x was 1, y is -5. Then when x is -2, or sorry, just 2, y was 0. Okay, so that was step 4, was the table. How did I do that? I just identified all the key points. So here, what's the x value there? It's -4, and y was 0. So those are my ordered pair. Then at -3, I just go up by 1. -3, x is at or y is at -5. So -3, -5. Does that make sense? And I just found all those points. So here's a point, here's a point, here's a point. These are all the points I just gave you the ordered pairs for. Any other questions? Okay, so far we've got, now we need x and y intercepts, because I can easily identify that. Miranda, can you give me the x-intercepts? Where does it cross the x-axis? -4 and 0. And what's the other one? 2 and 0. So here and here are my x-intercepts. Okay. Now, we can find the factored form given our x-intercepts. Okay, factored form is very easy if I have my x-intercepts. So remember, when I found, don't write this down, you just need to follow along. In 3.4, I gave you the equation. Ooh. Sorry, it flipped out on me. In 3.4, I gave you the equation of x plus 3 equal and x plus 7. Okay. F of x would equal that, right? How did I find the x-intercepts here? Or what would the x-intercepts be if I gave this to you? And I get x plus 3 equals 0, and then x plus 7 equals 0. So what would my x-intercepts be? -3 and -7. So I would have -3 and 0, and then -7 and 0. What I'm asking you is I gave you this. How would it look like in this? How are these two related? The x-intercepts and my factored form. Very good. So if you notice my x-intercepts here, if I put them in the parentheses with the x, I just change the sign. So that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to have f of x equals, I can take that -4 and make it a +4. And I can take that +2 and make it a -2. And so those are my factored forms. Any questions over that? So now if I were to solve this, I'd get my x-intercepts to be -4 and 2. Any questions over that? Okay, I'm getting close. Is that all the things that I found? Oh, y-intercept. Where does it cross the y-axis? Close. Where does it cross the y-axis? -8. So my y-intercept my pen is not liking me today. Is that 0 for x and -8. Let me show you where else I can find that. Since my y-intercept is where x is 0, I can easily see in standard form the y-intercept. If I plug in 0 for x squared would be 0. 2 times 0 would be 0, and I'd have -8. So this right here is my y-intercept. The constant when a quadratic equation is in standard form is the y-intercept. Any questions over that? We're all good? So now all three of these equations, I showed it to you in standard form, in vertex form, and in factored form. All three of those equations are the same graph, this right here. Okay, there's just different ways to write it so you can identify different things. In factored form, we can identify the x-intercepts. In vertex form, we can identify the vertex. And in standard form, we can easily identify the y-intercepts. Any questions over that? Okay, next one. Okay, this time I give you the equation in vertex form. Okay, I want you guys to try and identify all of the things that you can identify given it's in vertex form. Okay, Jaden, what did you find? Give me something you found. Okay, and what is it? Very good. Vertex. My pen does not want to work. Oh, there we go. -2 and 4. So I'm going to go x is -2 and y is 4, which is up here. Okay. Ryan, something else you found?
The y-intercept.
The y-intercept?
It's 0 and 0.
Okay. And how'd you get that? Did you graph it first?
Yeah,
Okay, let's graph this first. Then we can see the y-intercept. The y-intercept is 0, 0, though. So I'll write that there. So my a value should be at a -1. That should tell me my parabola faces down. So my vertex is a maximum. And my axis of symmetry is at x equals -2. Remember, it's the same value as my x value and my vertex. So I'm still going to use my pattern rate of change. So a over 1 and then 3a over 1, then 5a over 1. And most of you will be able to do this. Go down 1 over 1, then go down 3 and over 1, then go down 5 and over 1. And then here's my beautiful parabola. From there, Ryan saw my y-intercept. Okay. Something else. Ryan, no. What did you find? Okay, and what were they? -4, -0, and 0, 0. They're right here. Okay. Rachel, something else? Did you find anything else for me? Okay. How'd you find the standard form?
Well, I worked backwards from getting the standard form.
Okay, so you multiplied out the vertex form? Okay, I'm going to tell you that that'll work, but you'll probably make a mistake on there. What did you get for the equation?
I got x squared plus 4x plus 8.
Okay, very close, but you should have a negative x squared value. Okay, which is what a lot of us is going to do if we multiply it out in vertex form. I would find factored form first, then multiply out your factored form because it's less likely to make a mistake. So your factored form, and I saw a lot of you guys doing that, trying to multiply this out, and that's great. But before you can add that 4, you have to distribute the negative. Okay, and that's what a lot of you guys forgot to do, is distribute that negative. So in factored form, that'll be less likely to do that. So factored form, I should have f of x equals my a value. Make sure you bring down that a value of -1 in front. Then you can take your x-intercepts and get x. It's a -4, so it should become +4 in parentheses. Then x, there's a 0, so just +0. So what this is going to look like is f of x equals negative, I have x plus 0, which is just x. X plus 0 becomes just x. And the negative sign comes in front, and then I get left with x plus 4. So this is factored form. Any questions over that? So then our factored form now is what I'm going to use to find my standard form. I'm going to move this up here. And I have f of x equals -x times x plus 4. Now I'm going to distribute the x and the negative. And I'm going to get -x squared minus 4x. in that standard form. Yes.
What happened to the number that, like, for like the vertical form, like how it's just 4?
Mm-hmm.
What happened to that number?
So let me show you how you multiply this out in vertex form, because a lot of you guys tried to do that, which is great. You guys, that's awesome. But a lot of you made the same mistake. When you multiply this out, x plus 2 and x plus 2, right? Did a lot of you guys do this? So this is x squared, this is 2x, and 4, right? So this became x squared plus 4x plus 4. Before you can add that 4, you have to multiply by the -1. Order of operations, multiplication first, then addition. So when I multiply that -1, it becomes negative x squared minus 4x minus 4 plus 4. Minus 4 plus 4 gives that 0, which is what I have here. Okay? Any other questions? So you could do that either way. You could multiply it out from vertex form or multiply it out from factored form. I think it's easier to multiply it out from factored form, but either way will work, as long as you do it correctly. Any questions? We also had our order pairs. So we were at -5 and -5, then -4 and 0, then -3 and 3, then at -2 and 4, then at -1 and 3, and 0 and 0 and 1 and -5. Any questions over that? So again, now we have this all nice and pretty. We found all of our information. Okay. Next one. This time, so we've already had it in standard form, we've had it in vertex form, now I'm giving to you in factored form. So they're all gonna be slightly different. In factored form, what's the easiest thing to find? X-intercepts. Very good. I can find the x-intercepts, so please identify those x-intercepts. Okay, Nick C, what do you find for your x-intercepts? -6 and 0, -2 and 0. So remember, to find your x-intercepts, you just do the x plus 6 equals 0, and then the x plus 2 equals 0. Any questions over that? I'm going to go x is -6 and y is 0, which is right here. I'm going to go x is -2 and y is 0 right here. Anything else I can do? What can I find from there? I can find standard form. Okay. Standard form, I'm just going to move this up here and multiply it out. So I have f of x equals 2 times x plus 6 times x plus 2. Okay. So I'm going to do my wonderful box. Get x plus 6, x plus 2, and multiply it out. X times x is x squared. Okay, you guys multiply that out where my pen decides to work. Oh, there we go. Okay, x squared. 6x, 2x, 12. So I have x squared plus 2x and 6x is 8x's plus 12. Don't forget to bring down the 2 now and distribute that 2. So that's going to give me f of x equals 2 times x squared is 2x squared. And then 2 times 8 is 16x. And then 2 times 12 is 24. Any questions over that? So that's standard form. Someone else said we could find something else. What else can we find given our graph? Axis of symmetry. I can find the axis of symmetry. What is it? -4. The middle. Remember, axis of symmetry is the middle. So my axis of symmetry is x equals -4 because it's in the middle of my two x intercepts. That is also the x value of my vertex, -4. Now to find the y value, we need to work backwards. So what is our pattern? A over 1, 3a over 1, and then 5a over 1. What is the a value? 2. So a equals 2. So is my parabola facing up or down? Up. So that makes my vertex the minimum. So from this, I'm going to work backwards. I am 2 away. So I need to use those first 2 steps. If I was 3 away, then I'd use all 3. If I was 1 away, then I only use that first step. Does that make sense? And I need to work backwards. So I'm going to start with the 3a. It's going to be 6 over 1 because 2 times 3 is 6. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. Do the same thing on the side, 6 and over 1. Then how many am I going to move? Down 2. So I'm going to move down 1, 2, and over 1. Down 1, 2, and over 1. Okay, so now I have my parabola. Okay, what else do I need? Oh, so my vertex is at -4, -8. I need vertex form and my y-intercepts. Where does it cross the y-axis? No idea, right? I don't see it crossing the y-axis. Okay, so I have to come over here, get the y-intercept. I'm going to use my original equation of f of x equals 2 times x plus 6 times x plus 2. And my x value is 0. On the y-axis, my x value is 0, so I'm going to plug in 0. So I'm going to have f of 0 equals 2 times x plus 0 times, oh, what did I do wrong? I'm putting the wrong thing. I substituted in 0 for 6 instead of x. It's going to be 0 plus 6. And then 0 plus 2. Sorry about that, guys. Now we're going to solve.
We already know the y-intercept.
What is it?
It's 24 from standard form.
Oh, yeah, from standard form. Good job. So I wouldn't have to do that. I could just look at my standard form, huh? So f of 0, let's just finish doing this so we can show both ways and check our work. 2 times 6 is 12 times 2. So f of 0 is 24. So when x is 0, oh my goodness, when x is 0, y is 24. Any questions over that? Okay, vertex form. Can we identify vertex form? We have all the pieces that we need. We just need to plug it into vertex form. So I'm going to have f of x equals a times x minus h, the whole thing squared, plus k. So I have f of x equals, my a value is 2, so plug in that. Okay, so does everyone see where I got the 2 from? My a value is 2, so I'm plugging that in for a. Then I have x minus my h value, which is the vertex, part of the vertex. Okay, so when I plug in a negative 4, it becomes a positive 4 here. You have to change the signs, remember, for the x value. Then the k is minus h, minus the 8. Any questions over that? We're all good? Okay. Ordered pairs. We have a bunch of ordered pairs, right? So let's do our ordered pairs. I'm going to start at -6 for x. And when x is -6, y is at -6. Oh, not -6. Is that 0, right? Y is at 0. When x is -6, y is 0. When x is -5, y is -6. And then when x is -4, y is at -8. When x is at -6, Sorry, when x is at -2, what am I doing? -2, y is at -6, and we're in x. Oh gosh. Guys, help me. Why can't I get this right now? What comes after 4, you guys? 3. Okay, going backwards, -3. Then -2 and 0. Okay. Phew. Wow, that was hard. See, it's very easy to make little mistakes. Got to keep yourself paying attention and realizing your mistakes. So again, my x value should go up and down by 1 usually. And then my y value should repeat. So that's a way to check yourself if you're having a moment and can't count. Any questions over that? Okay, next one. Next one, I give you the x-intercepts. Yes. Do you have your pass? Get your pass out. I'll be right there. Okay, I'm going to have you guys start working on this one. Find something. I'll be right. Let's see. Who's going to start us off? Jacob, what'd you do first?
I did for a factor form.
Okay. And which?
Fx equals -2, parentheses x plus 1, x minus 3.
Very good. Okay, so there's one issue. I should change the sign. So if the -3 is negative, then this should be a +3. If the 1 is positive, then it should be a -1. Right? Inside parentheses are the twilight zone. It's the opposite sign. Okay. Also, I'm going to highlight this because I'm guessing some of us forgot the -2 in factored form, but that is part of it. Okay. But that's how it should work. That should be our factored form. Okay, next one. Nick. My other Nick. Do I have another Nick in here? Where's my other Nick? Okay. Oh, Valerie's not here. Melissa, what else did you do? Okay, and you graphed it? Okay, good. Graph -3 and 0 and 1 and 0. Good. Amir, now what?
I got the axis of symmetry.
Okay, what's the axis of symmetry?
-1.
Very good. Axis of symmetry is right here in the middle. So x equals -1. That's also the x value. Adele, did you get anything else? Can you tell me your A value? Okay, it tells you right here. The A value tells you about stretching and shrinking. And the A value is -2. So I'm going to use my pattern rate of change to continue to graph this. So A equals -2. I'm going to use A over 1, then 3A over 1, then 5A over 1. I am 2 away from the axis of symmetry. So I just need those first 2. Does that make sense? Okay. So I'm going to work backwards. So I have to start with the 3A. So that would be 6 over 1. And I need to go up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. Up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and over 1. Then I can do the 2 over 1. Up 2 and over 1. Up 2 and over 1. Any questions over that? Okay, so this is my parabola. Any questions? We're all good? Okay. From there, we can do a lot of different things. Where are we going to go? What do you want to do next? Let's see. Anthony, what else can you see? What's the y-intercept?
0, 6.
Very good. Right here at 0, 6. So 0 and 6. Okay. Zach, there. What do you want to do? Standard form or vertex form? Which would you prefer to do first? Vertex form? Okay.
I got -2, obviously, x plus 1 squared. And plus 8.
Okay. Equals -2 times x plus 1 squared, and then minus 8. Not minus 8, plus 8, sorry. Any questions on how I got that? I have my a value and I have my vertex. So I plug it in. The x value changes signs. The y value stays the same. Because this is my h and my k. Okay, not letting me. Okay, yes. It's the middle.
Oh, yeah.
It's in the middle. Axis of symmetry is in the middle of my two x-intercepts.
No, this way goes.
You're good? Okay. Now standard form, we have to multiply this all out. So I'm going to draw that box and multiply it out. X minus 1, x plus 3. This becomes x squared minus an x plus 3x minus 3. So then I get x squared plus 2x minus 3. But I also have to multiply by the -2, the a value. So I should get f of x equals -2x squared plus 4x. Oh, not plus 4x, minus 4x, right? Plus 6. Any questions over that? We're all good? Okay, how are we doing with this?
This is hard. I don't care.